Do you think that indicates a core monkey then? Because they play core monkey a huge amount, but obviously they could play as the 4
It,
or even the 5 as well.
like Danok said, right? They're very flexible. They play the Wyvern mid lane. They can play the monkey 4/5 safe lane. We don't really have a lot of info right now to make a conclusion, but Viper banned out, Phoenix banned out. Perhaps it's leaning into that monkey core, but it doesn't have to be 100% true.
Yeah, I feel like OneMove just need to kind of put their foot down and say, look, this is our draft. It's up to you guys to deal with it. Obviously, they need to make sure that they're not letting some like incredible gotcha pick catch them off guard, but they just need to say, this is what we got. We're going to beat you with it. Honestly, Nightstalker, not terrible. Going up against the Beastmaster with the Helm of the Overlord, once he gets the Aghanim Shard, it's a great way to be able to deal with it. Really prevents the Monkey King from having a high level of effectiveness as well. Wyvern support hates going up against the Nightstalker because he just gets right on top of you and chunks through you. So I actually quite like this pick. I want to see them go for... I mean, it means that... I don't know how I feel about a Nightstalker tiny lane, though. I want something that's going to secure it a little bit better for the Nightstalker.
Yes, please. That's the way you ended that whole statement is exactly what's worrying me. That's Nightstalker into a Monkey King. Like that lane for me sounds rough. Maybe last game they didn't really have a problem with Afterlife's lane. This time around, I feel that it might be a bit more difficult.
Probably a Toronto Tokyo Kunkka there. I would say that probably pushes the Wyvern into that 4 position. I want to talk about this Hoodwink again.
Rough for a tiny. That's rough for a tiny, a Kunkka matchup. Like, he has 0 armor, and Kunkka's just going to be tie-bringing you all day, so it just makes it incredibly hard to deal with that. Then, of course, you've got the Enchantress, who later on, of course, untouchable, very good, but again, Tidebringer doesn't care about that. You can almost, like, 2-shot people once you're at the 30-minute mark.
It makes me wonder what they're doing with this tiny then, if they're putting it probably mid or core. They're now in quite a solid position with probably not that much flexibility left on OneMove. We're probably looking for either that mid or that core, that one. TeamSpirit, there's still a little bit of room there. Any kind of thoughts on finishing moves here for TeamSpirit Lizard?
I think it's a 4 for them. Like, they just finished with that. They finished with a hero that can go with the Beastmaster. Meanwhile, for OneMove, position 1. Like, you can see the TB banned out. What else is there that they could get that they're strong with? We mentioned some core like CK before, but not great versus this team of TeamSpirit.
We'd mentioned the Sniper, but that's gone as well. I mean, both teams are seeming to think that it's still the POS ones yet to come. Do you not see a universe where this...
Yeah, but they're covering their bases there a little bit.
Yeah. Do you not feel like this tiny has the potential to be a 1 paired together with the Enchantress, considering you're not going to have the boars to deal with as much in lane?
It's doable. It's doable, but you could also lane it mid, right? And they ban out the TBPA. Just PA versus Beastmaster, what we mentioned before. Okay, get that armor going.
The Luna's good against the Wyvern as well because the glaives still bounce after the ult onto the enemy hero, so that's a bit of a counter pick as well against the Cold Embrace as well. So I guess that is that the reason, or for you, Lizard, or is there any other reason they've picked up this Luna?
It's a solid carry that can roll out of control. Some small combo with ulti and Nightstalker, not really, nothing really too crazy. But I like their draft way more than the last one. This is a draft now. Like is it amazing? Is it great? It's good. It's good enough, and I think that they have better chances now. I'm still heavily leaning TeamSpirit's favor because of the way they execute, but also I feel that their draft is still stronger.
It is stronger.
Go ahead.
I'm worried about mid, and I'm worried about the OneMove off lane. I feel like Tiny should get crushed by the Kunkka, and I feel like Nightstalker should get crushed by the Monkey King. So I'm still going to be favoring TeamSpirit for this one, but again, they have the ability to make plays with this draft.
What sort of plays do you need to see them make to win this game on OneMove?
I'm really just thinking about, like, obviously Luna's big strength is once you win a team fight, you're able to group up and push. So for me, it's just going to be around how they make that first play for the Tiny Blink, how they make, like, let's say the second or third Dark Ascension play happen to be able to converge to wherever the Luna is, and then use that to assist with a push, because hopefully that will be your big timing to hopefully be able to respond to TeamSpirit having a better time in the laning stage.
Okay. And what does TeamSpirit need to do for you, Lizard? What's their win condition here?
They just need to control that triangle against the Luna, the standard stuff, right? I don't think the game is too difficult for them. X marks the spot into arrow. You have Beastmaster to play around and push these towers. As long as he doesn't get crushed, I think you're set for the mid game, and you're set to make this Monkey King as free as a bird farming on his side. They do need to push the tempo a little bit more than in the previous game, or actually the same. Last game you were playing versus an Alchemist. This time you're playing against the Luna. You need to be invading the enemy side as much as possible. Don't let her roll out of control, take some crazy rush or anything like that.
Okay, well, can TeamSpirit avoid getting crushed by Tiny's rocks on OneMove? We're going to hand over to our casters, JohnXfire and MLP Dota, to find out.
Oh, thank you so much, Dan. We do get into game number 2 here between OneMove and TeamSpirit, and it is, of course, MLP Dota and JohnXfire once again. Jonathan, it seems like our panel once again believes TeamSpirit has come out with the better draft here, and arguably considering that game 1, you tend to kind of side with them. What are you thinking though, Jonathan? Looking at these two drafts, do you kind of favor one or the other?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as Lizard, and I think you have really strong lanes for TeamSpirit to play with. They almost have the same play style. You can kind of launch this Monkey King off to a faster start. For OneMove, I mean, it's more play. Night Stalker offlane has a little bit more to give you. The Luna has some early presence that you can itemize around if you manage to get the timing. So there's some more potential to be aggressive. They're already playing here.
Oh, nice arrow.
Jeez.
It's going to land right onto the backside of the Night Stalker's Afterlife. He's running. He's actually making it out, but no mirror. Barely able to get the right click off in time to secure the first blood. No uphill misses coming out either, and I believe he got kind of lucky with the dice roll as to how much damage was dealt with that final right click. Still, first blood already secured, and another game, Jonathan, where we have a 5-on-5 engagement before the bounty runes have even spawned up.
Yeah, they just run down mid. If they find a punishment, they could poke here, but it doesn't have the leap, so maybe a little bit more. No level it's committed yet from Pantomime. Does go for the impetus now. It's good harass out. Should at least equalize the bounty runes for a bit.
Interesting decision though, right? Because you could have gone for... In fact, hold that thought, because bounty runes are going to be kind of fought over here, and it seems like Seiyu is dropping rather on the Hoodwink now, but is going to be able to make it out. It should be a 2-for-2 trade on the bounty runes anyway. What I was trying to say, John, is I'm kind of surprised they didn't go for maybe the level 1 enchant there for Panto, because it felt like you might have been able to get the kill onto Mirror. I suppose with the impetus, you're just going to look to dominate the lane anyway, but it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I think it's down to what you want in this lane as well down bot, right? Like you pick the Enchantress to block off the boars, so you know the Beastmaster is going to go for the Axis, and you want to have more presence against that, which the attendance or the impetus allows you to have. If you go for enchant level 1 here, yeah, you can still go for slow plays, try to chase down, but it drags your Luna away from the farm. You just want her to focus in, build up in that lane, get that early start into the madness, and just gonna go on. So impetus does feel like a good call. I think enchant, the aggression is nice, but it doesn't tie into what you want to do with Luna, right? Like in the long term of the laning phase for the first 5 minutes, at level 1, enchant's really not gonna do much, and both sides are blocking off the large camp anyway. You are seeing Pantomime trade quite nicely.
Arrow, gonna connect. Mirror, he's manning up. Panto doesn't have a Fairy Fire here, John. He might just drop, though he tries to... No, he's not gonna make it. Battle of the supports. Sometimes they just decide to not back off, and... Well, Mirror, he knew he had a Fairy Fire, and the Ench didn't.
Yeah, and he got good timing on the use of his salve as well. As he was getting the kill, pops the salve. A great start already for TeamSpirit down bot. Up top, a little bit of a back and forth. Saw you kind of playing tag, at least sniping out Miposhka's courier, but you're still kind of having that start in the Monkey King that you'd want. Lane's a bit more shoved in. Afterlife can at least harass out a little bit with a Void. You don't have like a stun setup lane for the Monkey King to just play around, build up Jingu freely outside of his Boundless. So it's not like an overwhelming lane for Yatoro with the Winter Wyvern around. However, every time that Arctic Burn is up, it does hurt Sayu a lot. Already down to very low HP. At least has the headrest to regen through. I don't think Miposhka minds too much. He's still getting the good zoning he wants and giving Yatoro that smooth start. You want to see the Monkey King. Interesting to see though, Yatoro is going for the Battle Fury here, Mike. So Power Treads into Battle Fury, kind of wants to keep up with that Luna's farming pace.
It certainly feels like a bit of a greedier kind of build to go here, especially with the draft of TeamSpirit seemingly much more aggressive, but I guess you do want to just kind of keep match with the Luna, make sure she doesn't kind of outscale and outfarm you, and of course Yatoro is going to know a lot better than I do, that's for sure. Of course, how's that mid lane going? Toronto and Millajor are going to be going at it here on the Kunkka and the Tiny. So far, favoring Millajor on the Tiny, and Toronto going to be slightly behind, but should be able to catch up quite easily. Now, anything to watch out for in this mid lane matchup, John?
Not too much, really. It ends up being a pretty even farming lane. Bottle prioritization is probably more for Melajul to spam out his Avalanche Toss, but you don't really worry about that too much as a Kunkka. You kind of just want your Bracers done, you want your fast Boots done, and just run around, hit your level 6, threaten with your boat combination. You do have the supports to be aggressive down the line. Mirana rotation with the X combo, pretty scary, so they're going to have to keep their vision game up here in OneMove and track those supports.
Melajul's actually going to sneak over and just pick himself a bounty there on the Tiny, so get away with a free bounty from the dire end of things. Little pick up from him. Not going to miss too many creeps on his way back in either. I believe he missed maybe 1 or 2. Be back to farming though. So 2 kills in the favor of Spirit. It does feel like the laning stage though is going to be rather slow anyway. You look at every lane and maybe the best kill potential we have is down at the rather up the top lane. Maybe Mira can, snipe Panto with a nice arrow, and in fact, he might have a chance now, but won't bother throwing it out. Because you wouldn't have the backup damage anyway from Collapse quite yet. Even with the level 2 Wild Axes, it's just not enough damage. As long as they can get that initial farm and XP up here for the Beastmaster, they'll be more than happy with the way the lane's going. You are up against an Ench anyway, so you're kind of expecting to lose the lane as TeamSpirit here down at the bot side, but I think with the way the lane's going, they should still be pretty happy.
They're pretty satisfied. Collapse is still building into the Dominator typing that we saw him hit last time with Lycan. Even without the summon, still pretty good for the Beastmaster to play around with. The Luna's actually not free farming as much as you'd expect. It's still a strong lane for Knight, but it's not looking as strong as Yatoro as they do find that kill in Sayu. So you're racking up the Monkey King and the CS and the kills. And it's just down to what the Night Stalker lane's like during daytime. It doesn't do much in the first few minutes of the game. First 5 minutes feels really slow for Night Stalker. Even the first nighttime, you can be a bit more aggressive, but you don't necessarily look for those kills. You kind of just want to keep that farm game, hit your 6, and maybe play around when you have a couple of bracers, which is still somewhat of a ways off here.
Oh, Maposhka. A bit of a rock and a hard place, but even mid lane, Melajor, he's going to cop the boat to the face. I mean, they'll get Maposhka in the end on the Wyvern, but they lost their mid Tiny for that. Toronto Tokyo able to secure a solo pick-off onto that mid Tiny, and that's a really bad sign and a really bad start for the Tiny now. This bot lane, a bit more action to come out. Panto in a bit of trouble, but now Knight has to be careful himself. He does at least find Mirror before he does. Well, he's not actually going to go down. He's going to keep fighting. As Panto does actually drop himself on the edge. Knight's going to be fine to walk his way out. It's like that ice armor he did receive. She gave him quite a bit of bonus armor to actually survive all the right clicks of Collapse there on the Beastmaster.
Yep, you're going to be happy enough with that trade for OneMove, a kill coming out for your Luna. Not quite the solo EXP gain you'd want for Knight. Still fairly satisfied, not going for the Eclipse anyway, as you want to go farming here. And you're finding some wins here and there. The Luna's still having a great time. You got the triangle fairly secured in this game. Not many wards being dropped by TeamSpirit to keep track of that build-up for the Luna this time around. So as long as you hit the Mask of Madness timing, you're still pretty good in the flash farm. And again, your Monkey King is still working onto Battle Fury. The farm is looking good for Yatoro, but that timing is not in line with a Mask of Madness. Luna will have an early item advantage here for sure.
Top lane, the Night Stalker. Oh, that's a very nice bushwhack. Seiyu gonna kind of save the day for now, but Yatoro is still on the chase as Mirror. Goes for a cheeky arrow, but not gonna be able to land it. Afterlife with that nighttime, gonna have plenty of movement speed to be able to get himself out of there. Very nice save though from Seiyu's. Had it not been for that bushwhack, there was just no chance of survival.
You're just dodging really well right now in OneMove, trying to build up. And it's still a slow lane for Afterlife here, Mike. Bottom Netward Core, still level 4. No threat of the level 6 Dark Ascension to start running around. And as long as you're suppressing the Night Stalker, even if you're not finding kills, TeamSpirit's fairly happy. Again, they've got a draft that kind of wants to take it a little bit slower. They want to buy space for Yatoro. As long as they ensure he's farming, you're pretty good. Down bot, though, Collapse.
Nice setup. Panto able to get the slow off with the enchant and even had the Wild Wing Ripper going as well. So Knight going to secure his second kill of the game here on the Luna. 3 days for him. And well, speaking of Knight, John, we haven't talked about him too much this game, but he's having a very good start. 3.6k net worth, second net worth only to Toronto Tokyo there on the mid Konka. So happy days so far for the POS 1 of OneMove.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got the Mask of Madness flying out as well, so the Flash Farm can truly kick in for Knight now. And the triangle, it's not been spotted out too much by TSpirit outside of that one flash with Miposhka. So you still have a lot of Flash Farm left, and if TSpirit don't kind of apply that pressure in that area of the map, you could have a problem, because again, your Monkey King's going to take a long time to match that farm. Despite the aggression coming out from Yatoro, the Battle Fury is just a much more high net worth item, right? It costs a lot more, the farming rate of Monkey isn't as fast, and you're seeing Panto kind of look for the aggression, or clumping on Collapse.
He's doing a great job of it. Collapse going to drop once again as Melajul. He's going to rotate on the Tiny to make sure they have the damage out, and, well, quite frankly, I don't even think they needed the mid-Tiny. The Collapse, or rather Toronto Tokyo now, is going to show up on the Kunkka. With Mirror on the Mirana, but 3v2, they don't want this fight. Instead, Knight going to be focused down, but in the meantime, Mirror has gone down to Melajul's. Now Toronto Tokyo may have gone a bit too far in the Kunkka. Very nice body blocks coming up from Panto, but ultimately he will still be able to walk his way out. But for Melajul, he got a 2-for-1 special there, John, finding the Beastmaster and the Mirana right after.
That's pretty scary. Those are big kills to give away to the mid-Tiny. That blink timing for Melajul is going to be lining up fairly quick here, Mike. And it's kind of like what we said about TSpirit last time, right? They needed a fast blink on their Tiny to get aggressive. Same thing goes here for OneMove. Once Melajul does have the blink up, you can expect the Tiny to take the initiative. Keep that pressure up. Kind of punish TSpirit for maybe going for a more farm-heavy playstyle here. And they're already doing a great job of cutting off some top camps as well.
Well, they actually commit the Roar there just for Panto, but it seems like they really just want to get rid of this Ench and start moving into that tier 1 bottom tower. So Roar being committed, should be the first kill with that being used up. Still, now knowing that, OneMove might be able to find some more aggression here in this game number 2. It does seem like maybe there's not too many plays they can really make. Everyone from TSpirit kind of just huddled up together, apart from Miposhka. And it seems like instead they're going to try and trade the tier 1 towers in the opposing lanes. But to be fair, OneMove not really started yet on the top tier 1, but Afterlife eventually will get going. Meanwhile, mid lane, Toronto, Tokyo, and Mirror going to show up seeing Panto once again. They won't be able to close the gap though. Toronto, unable to get the X off onto Panto, is going to have to watch him walk out. And in the meantime, they are still taking the bottom tier 1 with just Yatoro.
It's a slow go, but eventually it will give way. Oh.
He kind of just went back in. Arrow does connect, but it seems like he's confident he'll be able to survive with just the heals out. And Toronto kind of just misses everything.
Yeah, they don't manage to connect. It's that point where the Ench, with Untouchable up, you have to land every Tidebringer really to get the kill. They get one, but they don't really have a creep wave to kind of sustain true. That does buy them space to clear out bot. I think this is also a lot of space for OneMove. The pressure up top's ramping up. They've got Dark Ascension here.
And Miposhka showed himself, but there's your Dark Ascension being forced out. They've got the curse to play with as well. Knight really wants that tier 1 tower and will find it. Miposhka's still trying to find a way to set up though, but instead, Afterlife looks like he has been caught, but no X back into the arrow. Rather, they do save it for the boat, but Afterlife might still... No, never mind, Toronto. He was confident enough with the Tidebringer to get the job done. So we'll go for another. Seiyu trying to run with the sharpshooter out, but it's just not going to be enough. Mirror securing the kill with the urn. TSpirit, well, they lost the top tier 1, but they clean up this top lane, that's for sure.
Find a really nice set of kills. Great kill on Night Stalker, slow that progression down on the Armlet. Again, OneMove probably doesn't mind too much. Knight, he's still getting space, goes into the triangle. Still no aggressive wards dropped by TSpirit. So very secure position for your Luna to farm up. Doesn't quite have the network lead, should be able to find that soon. Toronto Tokyo is still maintaining number 1 off the back of his aggression. And they are starting to play around now. They've got that blink on Melajul, they've got aggression lined up here.
Roar out again. They really want Panto dead, but a big avalanche toss is there. Melajul coming in just in the nick of time. It's Toronto trying to help out, but doesn't have the boat to throw out as Collapse. Still juking and jiving, but eventually Melajul does secure the kill. Toronto looking for an X-back is going to go on to Seiyu. Once again, the boat almost up. They'll just secure Seiyu's life. They want a bit more though. Toronto, Tokyo, gonna move in with your Toro. They'll see Afterlife, they'll go for a balance out, but you're not close enough, surely, to be able to lock him down, and well, eventually he will get close enough to the tier 2 to just walk away.
Lots of commitment out from Spirit, trying to play up against the tempo that OneMove is showing. And OneMove's done a great job of making this a harder game for Collapse. Right, the impact of your Beastmaster, the combination's still there, but he's not pushing as much. They catch one, though.
Ooh, nice blink away, though. He was very calm about that one, Melajul. Not reacting whatsoever to the X, just kind of standing there and getting ready to blink out. TeamSpirit, they'll go into that mid-tier 1 tower once again. Roar is not up, so you don't have the greatest setup here for a team fight, but Toronto, he can go for the X back onto Panto. We've seen this one before, though, and they miss again. Now, Melajul, he'll get an avalanche toss out. Collapse, in a bit of danger, is going to run his way out of the Wukon's command as the curse. Going to lock 3 of them down. Panto's gone, and so is Melajul. Afterlife, well, he's going to go for a run with this Dark Ascension, but they've lost 2 big targets already. And that's with all of it being missed. They didn't get the combo they wanted.
Yeah, they don't get the combination, but they still have a lot of team fight to follow through. They're not just hinging on that Arrow X. The Winter's Curse and Wukong's combination is still really strong. The damage output coming through from Knight there, just making short work of that soft squishy Yench, and that allows them to push that mid-tier 1. So taking more control of the jungle, maybe start to apply those forward wards that they need to see.
He just TP'd right into the outpost here, John. Collapse does have Roar up, and we've seen this before. He loves committing. He won't do it this time, though. Instead, Melajul has shown up on the mid-tiny, trying to go after Mirror, but he's going to be alright. Instead, the target will now be Maposhka. But he's also going to be fine to just fly his way out. The rotations from OneMove not really panning out, though maybe they can set up onto Toronto, Tokyo mid lane. Melajul is in with the avalanche and the toss back up. Bushwhack and Sharpshooter both going to be there. Toronto dropping very low, does get the boat out in time, but it's not going to matter. Nice pick up there from OneMove.
Nice big kill, knowing that the Kunkka was isolated, knowing that TeamSpirit was just clumped up in the jungle and backed off. See a big opportunity to at least give themselves a nice kill. I think the side of OneMove, the concern is still the fact that you don't really have an effort to lead with Luna. They catch more here.
Oh, they love just killing off Panto with the Roar. Just no hesitation from Collapse. Every time he sees him, he will just commit the Roar. He just wants that kill every time.
Yeah, again, it's been a bit of a slower game for Collapse. They just kind of want to get the kills, try to ramp up, get the levels going on that Beastmaster. The cooldown on that Roar reduces massively as the levels go up, so just finding some kills accelerates that process. Again, the concern for OneMove right now, Mike, is your lead on Knight just isn't that big. It's 8.3k up against a 7.2 and 7.1k Monkey King and Kunkka. Luna's almost like the Owl, and I think Lizard pointed this out. You need to farm a lot on Luna to really feel big. You have a great flash farm potential, though.
Melajul? Yeah, he shows up. He kind of went out of the fog there and does get caught out with the X back into the boat, and now the Torrent also going to connect as Melajul. He'll go for a run, but the curse is going to connect from Maposhka, and Melajul just cannot blink out of this. They show up, but they were just underneath Hawk Vision anyway. The TeamSpirit, a very easy setup. His Afterlife, he'll go for a run, but he might just drop as well. Nice armlet toggling, but does it matter? Well, for now it does. Still on the run. In the meantime, Panto is going to go down on the edge. Afterlife somehow still running back towards his fountain as Mirror. That's a very cheeky arrow, but he's not going to land it. Nice angle from Mirror, but Afterlife, I think he got a brief glimpse of it.
Yeah, it's a bit messy again for TeamSpirit, right? Like, they get the X, they don't get the arrow, they don't even get the Boundless. That's why they kind of miss out on Afterlife, but it doesn't matter. Like, they're still finding other targets, they're still causing havoc onto OneMove, making it fairly uncomfy for them to kind of get an angle back into these fights, and they never back off. TeamSpirit are still holding that mid lane.
Alright, not gonna land. Seiyu, gonna go for a run, but Melajul, no, not gonna be spotted out. Maybe he moves back in though, Toronto. Like a pretty spicy kill here for Melajul, so he will try with the toss back into Seiyu. They've got Knight around with the Eclipse out as well, but Toronto, he gets a BKB off, and now the Cold Embrace will save him for now as the arrow gonna fly right through Toronto. He gets the boat out, and he is gonna be fine for now, but Afterlife gonna show up as Toronto, somehow still running. In the meantime, they've caught Mirror on the Marana, and he will drop. They even got Maposhka. He does commit the curse, but he's still gonna go as well. Bit of a wasted curse there. On the bright side, they save their mid Kunkka, but they are going to lose this mid tier 1 tower.
I mean, you still have a lot of push coming out from OneMove. One of the benefits of the Luna, as the panel pointed out, easy to shove in objectives after a team fight win. And you're feeling very secure now at Knight. You've got that early BKB 2k lead, not massive, but enough for the Luna to play with. Straight into the Roche they go. TSpirit, they could try to play around with the Hawk Vision. They need to find that Roche. They can't allow it to go off for free. Wukong's is almost done, or almost off cooldown for Yatoro, but great timings from OneMove. They're playing around this Night Vision really well. They've got the advantage every time it's nighttime with the Luna, with the Night Stalker. They just can see a lot further and kind of just prevents Spirit from getting their angles up. So with the Roche, this should allow them to play a little bit more, but TSpirit, again, they're still kind of clumped up and they smoke up here.
They're going to try and force the fight. Still OneMove. They are looking like the stronger team right now. At the very least in terms of the way their carries have built up. Like, you look at this Luna. The Knight, he's having a pretty nice game right now. Just 11k net worth lead on that Luna. Certainly getting to the stage where you are starting to get a little bit more concerned here if you are TSpirit. I say that they are smoked up and just rushing towards OneMove. Nice boundless strike out from Yatoro into an arrow follow-up, but they don't want to fully commit. Yatoro going to back himself out as now the toss is there. Maposhka going to be fine. Meanwhile, Toronto Tokyo, he's caught Afterlife on the Night Stalker. They'll bring him back into the boat, into the torrent, and they'll take him down. Yatoro, 4th kill of the game for himself. Melajul, he'll TP out on the Tiny. TSpirit, I mean, even if they look like even if their heroes look a little bit weaker, they're not afraid. They still win out the fight.
Yeah, I mean, OneMove does mention to back off properly. They don't sacrifice the Aegis there, but they're not the ones taking initiative here, Mike. They spotted out the smoke with their ramp ward a while ago, forcing TSpirit to kind of wait out that opportunity for the kills. They still find something for their trouble, and OneMove is still just kind of playing this farm game. Yeah, you're getting the build up on Luna. You know, you're going into the Shard. You might be going into that Silver Edge next for a little bit more damage. You're still not really overwhelming the Monkey King with net worth. And it's still within 1k gold here for Yatoro with a Battle Fury. And he already has this nice little crit stick up, so the damage output's getting up there. Once the BKBs fly in for TSpirit, it feels dicey for OneMove.
He does. They're going to try and force a fight now. Collapse going to be scattered out. Melajul kind of just going after the backside, but he cops the Raw. On the Tiny, he's unable to get the initiation off, so now he's in big trouble. X-Torrent is there, even the arrow to connect, but a nice Force Staff. Gonna buy him a bit of time, but surely not enough. Melajul's gonna drop. Afterlife, he'll keep trying to get this team fight going. The Wyvern is gonna run away and have the Cold Embrace back up and available if he needs it. But he doesn't. Yeah. That's pretty rough. This is your Aegis timing as well. As OneMove, like, you're running as a unit trying to use this Aegis up, but it's just not happening.
Nah, really not. I mean, you just don't see the good openings for Knight to walk in, use that BKB. Toronto?
Oh, they know the Luna is in that tree line. Arrow will connect, locking him down, but they don't have the follow-up yet. Being very annoying from the low grounders. Now the Hawk Vision going to make this team fight a lot easier for Spirit. And with Yatoro, well, he's not even moving his way in. It's just a 4v2 situation, or rather 4v3 as the arrow once again gonna miss. But Knight, he's in such big trouble. Eventually, he will lose the Aegis. On the brighter side, they found Mirror. On the Marana as Toronto, he'll just BKB TP out. Meanwhile, this Night Stalker, bot lane is going down. The Melajul does get Maposhka, but Afterlife's gonna die to Yatoro.
Yeah, it's pretty fragmented. Very, very fragmented from almost both sides. Like, you're not connecting in the way you'd want to on TSpirit, but it feels a lot harder for OneMove with how their team fight's going. They are locking in Yatoro. He does not have a BKB, so he's fairly easy to chase, but he's still a mobile monkey. Has managed to bail out, and now Toronto Tokyo's here.
Oh.
No Aegis.
You don't have an Aegis this time, Knight. You don't have that Aegis. He's going to BKB up, and the Eclipse is going to come out. In fact, Toronto, he's the one that made a mistake here as he tries to run with the Essence Ring being popped, but surely there's no way out. Moonlight Shadow pop, but it's not going to be enough. He does drop. TeamSpirit, though, still rushing towards Knight, who does go back to farm, but collapses right behind him. Raw connects. Do they have the damage? Nice force staff away. Knight still running, but Yatoro right behind him to take him out. They even found the Ench. That was a very greedy spot to farm in from Knight. Right after you saw TeamSpirit, and well, he gets a great kill on Toronto, but gets punished immediately.
And that equalizes it for TeamSpirit. They come out on top, even though they sacrificed their Kunkka. Big target to take with that Luna. Now number 2 net worth. You don't really have a gold advantage at all. I mean, overall net worth for TeamSpirit's 5k up, but you were always banking on Luna. Again, kind of like the Alchemist in game 1, to at least maintain 4k above. And we've seen that a lot with Luna, so that tends to be like the sweet spot to start to feel really strong. You don't have that overwhelming item advantage. The Monkey King Battle Fury investment from Yatoro has paid off, has his BKB up, and this is the point where all of OneMove's plays, all of their control just kind of dissipates. Their burst damage with Tiny Blink Avalanche is kind of gone. Their control with Night Stalker disappears. Like, there's no threat in the Monkey anymore. It feels like Yatoro is just free to jump in and do what he wants as long as he's got his spells ready.
Oh, nice balance strikeout. He's found the Night Stalker once again. Yatoro will just move right in as Afterlife. He is forced to pop the Dark Ascension and try to force a fight. OneMove, they're going to move their way in. After Yatoro, they might be able to catch him, but no, he Primal Springs right out. Afterlife still has a bit of time here with the Dark Ascension to try and find a way to get a good fight going, but it doesn't seem like they're even going to try and force this any longer. In fact, Panto, Arrow's going to connect, and he will slowly but surely just die as they kill him from a distance. They don't even get near him. Tips out for Melajul.
Not sure what Melajul did there, but, they're feeling confident in TeamSpirit. They know they've hit this time again. They've managed to hold back against OneMove's early item or gold advantage, and now they're just smoking. They're confident with their BKBs. They know they've got a lot of aggression in hand. They just need to find some kills.
In through the mid lane they go. 4-man smoke up. For the side of OneMove, they're very well aware that this is not the kind of fight they need to take right now. At least wait till all your heroes are back up. Got Toronto Tokyo on that Kunkka John. He's just running around trying to hunt somebody down. Jump in. Oh, that's a great start. Maposhka, he's in with a fantastic curse onto the 2 main 4. Right into the boat. See you later. That's a perfect initiation from Maposhka. Onto Panto they go. I mean, I want to see 5 tips there, John. Come on.
Probably on cooldown there, Mikey, or they used them all up on TeamSpirit. Straight into the push. Excellent team fight again. They have such great ways of controlling here on TeamSpirit. The blink on Maposhka, the investment that the Wyvern has managed to find is just paying off. And with a Beastmaster on hand, doesn't take too long to just go for the big objectives. It's Defense of the Ancients. Tier 4s are going to go.
Yeah, they've got buyback available. They'll commit eventually as Afterlife. He does get a tree cut onto the Monkey King tree, but now has been caught out anyway. I believe a GG call's coming very soon here, John. They will buy back on Afterlife as well. Can they punish Melajul? That's a great avalanche out, but the Boundless Strike is there. Yatoro still fighting as Toronto. He's going to move back in onto the Tiny. They'll find Melajul a second time. Afterlife, he's trying to run. He'll barely make it out. Meanwhile, Mirror, oh, he gets sniped. He does get taken down, but in goes Toronto once again as the buyback is there from Mirror. Boat will be taken by Knight through the backside, and Knight's just gone. No buyback available. Panto, it's a bit of a slower process here on the Ench, but eventually they might just be able to get this done as Afterlife. Save your buddy Syndrome kicking in here as he tries to keep the fight going, but it is just going to drop, and the GG call, it does come out from OneMove. Another one-sided affair here from TeamSpirit, and they continue just going on undefeated, John. Just no contest here for the TI-10 champs.
Yep, they're on a roll. Not a single game drop, not a single series drop, and they play extraordinarily well in a series. There were a couple of ideas there from OneMove. Again, back to the panel's points, right? This draft in Game 2 looked a lot better. It's a draft that they could have played with a lot more, and we did see some early activity from OneMove in this game. It's just not enough. The worst thing about this match, I think the big highlight for me was at that last fight, when they got that great avalanche out from Melajul to interrupt that with buybacks, right? While TeamSpirit were trying to retreat. Collapse's BKB TP'd home. They were playing like 4 versus 4. Collapse literally didn't even cancel. He just like, you guys deal with that. I'm not even gonna play the end game. And TeamSpirit still managed to clean up. They just play amazingly well. OneMove, we've seen them shine in some situations. Tough opponent up against TeamSpirit, and they just play, as TeamSpirit does, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, TeamSpirit, like you said, John, they're undefeated right now in the EEU DPC. And after this series, they remain undefeated. In fact, I believe they take the first place spot in the group standings, or at least for now, it's tied up. But well, they should be taking it after this series. So congrats to TeamSpirit on that first place position. Yeah, with the way they're playing, John, I don't know who's going to take a game off them, to be quite frank with you. But, that's not up to us, Jonathan. But maybe our panel will know the answer to that question, as we are going to head off to a very short break. And right after that break, we'll be back with our lovely panel for an interview and some post-game analysis. We'll see you then.
Well, welcome back. It might have been a better draft there from Mind Games, but from OneMove, but TeamSpirit still comprehensively demolished them in that game too. Lizard, talk to me what went so right there for TeamSpirit.
Everything went right for them from the get-go, from the laning stage. The game lasted 24 minutes. Come on, what went right for them?
Everything, yeah.
Everything, yeah.
Any thoughts to add on that, Dan, or is it just a case of one pebble starting off an avalanche of a game 2 victory?
It kind of went like I expected, right? Like the mid lane was so conquer favored, and Toronto Tokyo did a fantastic job. You also had the Monkey King really bodied the Night Stalker. It was really only the Luna that had a good enough time, and that's probably where I want to put a little bit of my focus, just because I feel like the 4 people positions 2 to 5 on OneMove actually did a pretty decent job at holding off all 5 members of TeamSpirit. Like, Yatoro was joining these fights before he had his Battle Fury. Like, he was actually just looking to put a lot of pressure on. So the fact that they weren't massively behind when it was still 4v5 is big kudos to the rest of them. But I just really didn't feel the impact coming through from Knight, because I was watching him for a good 4 or 5 minutes. He just rotated between the jungle underneath the Dire tier 1 top and his triangle, and he never went into the lane at all to maybe try and put a little bit more pressure onto the Dire side of the map. And I can kind of understand it when you're going up against these heroes that have really good pickoff, like, the Kunkka, the Beastmaster, the Wyvern, the Mirana. Like, all of them are really good at picking you off, but I felt like in the middle of these 4v5 engagements that were happening on the opposite side of the map, he could have left, gone into the lane, and put a little bit more pressure onto the Dire side of the map, and maybe that would have accelerated his farm as well.
0 deaths from Yatoro there. That's a really impressive performance. For you, is that enabled by his skill, or is it a contributing factor from the rest of the team protecting him?
I think Poshka just played amazingly this game. The amount that he was able to set up, particularly around that mid tier 1, it really felt like TeamSpirit had the momentum ever since that Great Winter's Curse onto 3, I think it was, and they were just able to isolate everyone and just go from there. Also, some really good team play coming through from, I believe it was Collapse, where there was one team fight around that mid tier 1 tower as well, on the Dire side this time, where OneMove actually got a couple of pickoffs, but he specifically body blocked 2 or 3 separate spells on Collapse to make sure that Yatoro still lived. So it was a really good team performance.
Great. Well, we've got an interview coming up with Toronto Tokyo, who I believe is in the channel now. Welcome, Toronto Tokyo, and congratulations, another 2-0 victory for you guys. Was that a pretty comfortable one, or did you feel at all stretched?
Yes, I would say it was comfortable, as all games you're playing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. How are you guys feeling so far in the division? You're currently undefeated both in games and series. You must be feeling like you're back to your best. Is that how you feel?
I feel like we're getting stronger by by our games in division, but our scrims. Yeah, we have good strategies. We understand the patch right now, so yes, that's why we're winning, I think.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk a bit about that game 1. I imagine both analysts will have questions for you as well. They picked an Alchemist. It was a bit of a strange draft for them. Did you think that draft could have worked, or were you a little confused by it?
I think Alchemist should not go mid against Tiny, because it's a bad matchup for Alchemist, and I think he cannot help anywhere while I'm raping them up. So if they put alchemist, like I think if they put a punk on mid, it would be easier for them to play.
I'm going to head over to my analysts. Dan, got any questions for Toronto Tokyo?
I just want to get your opinion on Alchemist in this patch at the moment, just because we haven't seen you guys play it yet. Maybe you've scrimmed with it, but it's really popular across China and Eastern Europe. What's your opinion of the hero and how strong he is right now?
I think it's a good hero. It's pretty strong on sides, and it can be mid as well. So it's easy to pick this hero, and yeah, it's also really strong. I mean, not even by picking it, it's easier. It's easy to play, but when you're playing Alchemist, it's also a good hero. But I don't think it's strongest carry. It's because it's easy to pick. It's, could be 3 or 2, even 5 or 4.
Flexible.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. I actually have one other question for you. We've seen across a lot of regions that Dire actually has a pretty significantly higher win rate right now. And in game 1, you guys chose to play on Radiant. Was that something specific in response to like the pick order, or do you feel differently? Do you feel like Radiant is still stronger?
Is Dire stronger? Because I don't know. It has
That's what the
more
stats
win
say.
rate. Okay.
Yeah.
I think most of the teams are choosing Radiant because of the Roche, and choosing Dire because of the woods is easier to farm and easier to stack. So it depends on what you want. We wanted the Roche area, so that's why we choose Radiant.
Cool.
Lizard, anything from you?
You guys covered the Dota. I'll cover something else. Congrats on the win. I know that you're in a fellow Balkan country in Serbia, boot camping. How do you feel there? How is the boot camp? Do you get recognized on the street a lot, or is it casual?
This only once I got recognized on the street. I heard people are playing League of Legends here more. So yeah, and we have a bootcamp here, but we are only playing here and scrims, and we are chilling at our apartments. Everyone has his own apartment, so we are only playing in our bootcamp.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's kind of hot here, but for me, it doesn't matter. I'm just sitting at home, then I'm going to bootcamp playing here, not even leaving my computer, I think. Maybe I need some more restaurants. I love the best restaurants in Moscow.
That's exactly what I wanted to continue with.
The food is really nice here in Serbia, but it's only about meat. I like meat, but I cannot eat it every day. Yes.
I was just about to ask you, like, how is the food, and what's your favorite dish then? What's the favorite thing you ordered in Serbia so far?
I cannot say.
Could it be cevapi? Maybe those small pieces of meat.
I was eating cevapi when I come here for like every day. Then I'm done for visit.
Yeah. I see.
I really like meat, but I'm a bit I think bored of the beef right now. I need some more fish. It's only one good fish restaurant here, and I found a good Chinese restaurant like last days. So I think food is fun in general. It's really good.
Yeah, the people are giants in Balkans. Like, they're all big. They only eat meat and cheese and whatnot. But yeah, I'm happy you're finding your place in Serbia and that you're settled well.
Yeah, thank you.
So just one final question for me. Are you going to be celebrating going out after this win, or is it back to the grind?
Can you repeat, because I didn't hear it?
That's okay. Are you going to be celebrating after this win, going out and celebrating with the team, or is it straight back to the grind?
I don't know. There's nothing to celebrate. I think we will go home and play pubs. I think, especially me. Yeah.
Great. Are you playing a lot of pubs at the moment? Are you working really hard, or do you feel that you don't need to work so hard at the moment throughout this DPC?
I think we are working hard enough, even more. Not the not the hardest, but hard enough, you know. And because we lost last major, you know, we are just motivated. We want to play better.
Well, definitely. And with all that protein, I'm sure you're going to grow up to be very big and strong over the past couple of weeks. Thanks so much for joining us, Toronto Tokyo. Good luck in the upcoming matches, and thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Lovely. Always great to talk to a TI winner. Any final thoughts about that series, Danog?
Not about the series. I just I need to go to Serbia now. All this protein there. I got to try out a lot of this new stuff, man. I mean, we got a pretty good selection down here, but Chavapi, there's not too many good places for it down here. So I'm keen to give it a go.
I know none of my Serb friends are gonna get mad at me because if you want Chavapi, you come to Sarajevo. You come to my home city. It's the best. It's the best ever. Yeah.
What is it? Just small bits of meat?
Yeah, it's
It
basically
doesn't sound
like
like much of a dish.
it doesn't sound much, but it's bye guys, I'm gonna go order some food. Yeah, it's enough. Close this panel out already.
Okay, we're going to close it out. We'll be back in a little bit of time, about an hour. We'll be back for Mind Games versus Navi. Very big series from two very big teams. They were hyping each other up last week. I'm excited to watch them go there. So maybe take a break, grab some lunch, grab some small bits of meat. I had some soup. We'll speak to you very, very soon. Thanks for tuning in.